Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Minish recap. My name is Spigel. I haven't done one of these in frickin' forever. With me today, Nick
Hi.
and Chase.
I also haven't done one of these in freaking forever.
It is a beautiful Friday morning, and Nintendo just announced Pokemon Sun and Moon. And it was in a fashion that one would consider underwhelming. Not to put words in everybody's mouths, but
It's in Chinese.
yeah. Hey,
You know
we
what?
could
You know
we
why
could play
it's
Pokemon in
underwhelming? 'Cause
9
there's
languages.
no footage. Because there's no footage. Because all the other reveals were really short trailers too, but they just didn't show us anything this time.
Are we generally surprised that that there was no footage shown at all? I mean, we have like a couple drawings of like Pikachu and I think a Pokemon Center. I need to go back and watch it again, but
I'm not sure. I'm not too surprised because the last time they wanted to show off footage was to be like, look at it, it's 3D, and then it was like, look, it's remakes. You've seen these before. And I guess maybe they don't have like a major feature like that they're ready to show in the same way. That's sort of like series pushing forward.
I mean, as far as Pokemon goes, you don't really need to see it to be excited about it. You just need to know about the existence of it. So I guess you can go that route, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
and they're really unique titles. Like they haven't had
Yeah.
anything like that before.
But I think the really underwhelming thing about it was that the big reveal was that knowing it exists, but we
And it
knew it
leaked
existed
yesterday.
yesterday.
yeah. So that was definitely an issue.
Yeah.
It's hard to create hype around something that you already know about.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I would have been more excited if we didn't know about it yesterday, but I still wouldn't have been bouncing off the walls or anything because we didn't get any footage. We still know basically nothing about them. It's just like they exist. Cool. It's in Chinese. Cool. Also, you can use Pokemon Bank with the eShop games.
See, no, that's pretty cool. Because I don't. It's really I guess it's not useful for me because I literally just finished getting all original 151 in my Pokedex for the new games. So it's like, yay, I can import them.
Well, here's
Yay.
a question for those diehard Pokemon fans that are listening to this right now, which we all are, by the way, the three of us. You know how in the first game they didn't have a stat for special defense or special attack? It was
They
just
had special, and by the way, you could trade with the second game, which had two stats. It just converts it when you trade.
Oh, it does. All right, well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
because
I
the
did not know
original
that.
Gen 1 had special, and then Gen 2 introduced special defense and had special attack. And when you traded a Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 2, it would just, I think the special stat became special attack, and then it would get assigned a special defense as well, based on whatever it was supposed to be.
So you read my mind. That's exactly where I was going with that. I was like, how's that going to work in the new game? Because you can't just
it'll
move.
work just
Yeah.
like that. But
Okay.
there's another. You got to consider that they must have done something fancy because they also changed the entire system of unique IDs between Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Not to mention effort values as opposed to
That's
individual
what I'm
values.
talking about.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's they changed both how effort values can cap, but they've changed that numerous times. The biggest thing that they've changed that hasn't changed since Gen 2 is individual values, in that there's this number that went up to 16 in the original games, and it went up to 32 from Gen 2 onwards. So they introduced some kind of conversion for that as well. But those are just numbers. That's not too hard to do. It's just taking the time.
If you're listening to this show, by the way, and you have no idea what we're talking about, I don't know. Would it be better if they didn't get involved in that, or should you?
The
just
simplest
go-
way to
so
know
me.
is they made Pokemon more unique in how their stats are between the games, and originally that was a barrier between being able to put Gen 1 into Gen 3 and onwards, and they fixed that now.
So I should just point out I know nothing about competitive Pokemon.
Good. Stay far away. It's terrible.
That's basically the idea I've been getting from the people I know who are super into competitive Pokemon. Because I just look at them and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand.
It's an amazing community, but it's very, very toxic, and it's also very exclusive. You can't really get in on it without being just perfect at everything already. So, anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
I
want
mean,
to rip the Pokemon fandom right now. I want to talk about the Nintendo Direct.
Well, I mean, we already talked about the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we already did more on the Direct.
We
than
already
they- yeah.
we've talked long. Have we talked longer about the? No, we haven't yet. We
Well-
could get there to the point where our
Well, we
Minish
could
recap
because of
is longer.
speculation, but I mean,
than-
most of our speculation is going to be rooted in stuff we know from X and Y and other things that have happened recently.
Do you think that they're going to make any big sweeping changes to Sun and Moon while we're on the topic? Like, is there a certain angle they're going to take with this one, like they did with Gen 6, where it's like, okay, it's all 3D now, and that's the direction we're going? Do you think they're going to do anything crazy with this game, or do you think it's just going to be like Gen 6 Part 2, kind of like
I don't personally think it was crazy for Gen 6. The presentation overhaul made it seem like this big, huge, sweeping change, but if you played a lot of the series, you already would know that Gen 5 before it did most of the big changes already in terms of speeding up the gameplay, and Gen 6 just kind of polished it up a little.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is like, it doesn't seem like there's that big feature that they're like ready to jump on and say, like, this is the thing that is so different about Sun and Moon from the previous games. Because if there was, they probably would have talked about it in this.
I think it's just going to be a content-heavy game. I think we're just going to see what we usually see, which is one of the last set of Pokemon games released for a system are the ones that typically have the most in them and are the most complete feeling. And that's probably what we're getting here. I'm pretty confident that we'll either have a larger region than normal, or they're just simply going to let us visit the Kalos region, because they're not going to release a Pokemon Z at this point. That is what this is.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon Z is done at this point.
Like, the games have in their system slots for 6 games overall in the 3DS line, in terms of like future games come out for compatibility with trading. So they could patch that in theory, but they wouldn't. This is Game Freak.
Right, this was planned all along.
So unless something drastically changed, like, these are the last 2 games. And they've decided to do this instead of Z. Which is annoying because they made the anime called X, Y, and Z for one of the seasons.
I know. It's weird.
And briefly before we finish up here, they did say that this was going to be on 3DS, right?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
They did say 3DS.
I'm just making sure because the NX rumors and all that stuff. So we know we're gonna have 3DS for at least one more holiday. So that that actually bizarrely answers a question I had about NX, which is Nintendo not revealing games for later half of the year on purpose? So just so we can
to that end, Pokemon lags every time because
that is true.
Because Black and White 2 came out while the 3DS was a thing, and they actually ended up releasing a 3DS app to the Dream Radar to interact with DS games, Black and White. So I don't think it's beyond them to wait longer than Nintendo's internal teams would.
Yeah.
So even if the 3DS was mostly dead otherwise, which it kind of is after Fire Emblem, Pokemon stands on its own.
Well, I think we've definitely covered enough to have more substance than that Pokemon Direct. That wasn't exactly difficult, but I think we did a good job. Any final thoughts from you guys? I think just before we wrap up here.
Digimon is better.
I want to know.
Get out of here.
My final thoughts are cool. I want to know more. Because, I mean, new Pokemon games are always inherently a little bit exciting, because, like, you want to see all the new Pokemon and all that, and, like, know what the new region's about and all that junk. I want to know more, because we didn't really learn anything today, other than it's in Chinese and Pokemon Bank. We didn't learn anything other than that.
We literally learned nothing about Sun and Moon except the titles of the games and that you can play it in 9 different languages, which I didn't really even know was an issue, but there you go.
Well, I mean, everybody's jumping on the Chinese market now that they're, like, lifting console bans.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge deal for that reason. Huge. If we actually educated ourselves, we could have a big discussion about that. That's a big trend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't feel like getting educated, though.
That's fair. You're our American.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool news, but I want to know more, because we didn't really learn anything.
Well, I'd like to learn less. I hope they take my memories.
Okay, and on that note...
6 minutes of my life I never got back.
On that note, thank you for joining me today, Nick and Chase. I think we had some fun. Thank you for listening to our little Minish recap, the 10-minute gaming news show that sometimes goes longer. We hope to make more of these in the future. Just Nintendo's got to give us some news first. So there you go. Or, any company. It's slow news cycle right now. Usually, ramps up a little bit faster than this, don't you think?
Yeah, nothing like ending a video with a question.
Yeah, well, jeez. Well, we'll cut that out maybe. All right, thank you guys for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe or whatever. And we will talk at you later.
Bye.
Bye.